Alright, so something, it doesn't have to be that close. Something you need to know about is that it's got 2 graveyards. Technically it's got 3 if you count the one up at the Abbey up the top. That's what we might call an ancient graveyard, which has just been left. Alright, these 2 graveyards are side by side. The first one we're going to see here is, I think, basically where we're going to do some work today, and maybe some work also in the old graveyard. This graveyard is also known as the Gypsy Graveyard or the Traveller Graveyard. Don't say Gypsy. The Traveller Graveyard, but basically everyone gets buried here as well. So let's have a look.
I can't say what's on my mind. I can't say what's on my mind. Too many questions on my mind. Too many questions in my mind.
Hey, buddy. All right. Today we're making a video. We're doing where I work and what I do. This is my wife, Dominique.
Hi.
All right, so we're off to work. I don't know what the temperature is.
9 degrees.
9 degrees. That means it's a little warmer. The last few mornings have been about 5. But you get to see exactly what happens when you work in the... That's called a job scheme. We've got all the tools of the trade. Broom, edge cutter, hoe, rake, and shovel. Alright, so something, it doesn't have to be that close. Something you need to know about is that it's got 2 graveyards. Technically it's got 3 if you count the one up at the Abbey up the top. That's what we might call an ancient graveyard, which has just been left. Alright, these 2 graveyards are side by side. The first one we're going to see here is, I think, basically where we're going to do some work today, and maybe some work also in the old graveyard. This graveyard is also known as the Gypsy Graveyard or the Traveller Graveyard. Don't say Gypsy. The Traveller Graveyard, but basically everyone gets buried here as well. So let's have a look. Alright, I'll take you through, give you a quick look. So I need my trusty hoe. Alright, as you can see, what happens here is that everything is pretty well kept. We don't have to do a lot of work, but we do have to do the maintenance, and that means things like shrubs growing between rocks have to go, and of course shrubs of all kinds. Done. Alright, today my lovely wife Dominique will be working along here getting rid of any weeds, and I will be working behind the gravestones, where you can see there are a lot more bits of rubble, a bit more rubbish, some empty plastic bottles and things, maybe some broken flower pots. And basically she'll be taking the front and I'll be taking the back. And have a look how many rows there are. You just film this direction and walk along. You see some of them have a lot of rubbish. My favourite bit of graffiti says, "No, no, no." What that really means is this is the spot where you dump. There's a sign. An important thing to remember about these signs is you see them around Ireland. Very rarely is someone actually employed to give you this $3,000 fine. They're relying on witnesses taking photographs, evidence of license plates. And the average Irish person is not a squealer. The average Irish person is not an informer. So no one's calling the police because someone dumped something. Maybe half of 1% do that. The rest of them, they just dump everything here. This part of the graveyard, I think, is actually much more interesting because it has an older history. Let's have a look. Some of these graves are almost 200 years old. Quite old. And the most prominent ones feature steel and iron work. Let's have a quick look. Back when this grave was built, iron was very expensive, especially this wrought iron, as you can see here. That means that the people who were buried here were dignitaries or very important one way or another, maybe important business people. And our job here in the old graveyard is to actually strip away all of the plants and reveal all of the headstones. I'll give you a quick example. Along this whole edge here, if you want to film along there, there were climbing plants and all kinds of big vines growing. And over about 3 or so days, we removed all of that. And you can still see down the end, some of the gravestones still need to have the plants removed from them, and that's one of the jobs that we do too. Let's have a look. The old graveyard is much more vast than the new graveyard, or the traveller graveyard. I like this one, but it's very uneven. It's quite old, and I guess there's ages of different people coming and going. And you can see they've left their mark. This side of the graveyard especially has graves that are about 100 years old, maybe a little older. And out here, we get some really old things as well. I love to read the family names and see if the families are still alive here. And a lot of them, they are. We're not going to film headstones and talk about people's families because no one wants that to happen. But what I can say is that working here is a lot of fun because we get to work out in the sun, in the outdoors, with hand tools in the open air. And I only work till 12 o'clock So in the afternoon, I got time to make my music and work around the house and do that kind of thing. Working here in the graveyard for the group is probably one of the best jobs you could have. And one of the secrets is you don't have to work when it rains. So, if it rains, no work. What country are we in? What country are we in?
Ireland.
We're in Ireland. That means half of the time I don't have to work, but still, I love being here, and when the weather's like this, it's gorgeous. Let's go up on the hill and have a quick look.